Welcome, 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 everybody, to the Monday stream. I hope everyone's having an awesome Monday. Welcome. And I hope everyone had a good weekend. Welcome, Derry Bennett, Heat, Quad Bennett, Michael Hassler. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for the 20 biddies. I appreciate that. I also saw someone threw in a tip there a couple days ago. Thank you. I appreciate the support. Rest in peace, Rochelle Lillis from Pokemon. Yes, that's right. I saw that. Unfortunately, the voice actress for Misty, Jessie from Team Rocket, Jigglypuff, and I think that's it. at least Pokemon wise, has unfortunately passed away. Pretty young too. Pretty young. She was only 46. She was only 46 years old. Hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. Indeed. DNC next week, that's right. The DNC convention. The tips are about to be tax deductible, exactly. I saw that Kamala Harris has tried to emulate the same policy, which really doesn't seem like on the surface. It does seem, like it does seem like it makes sense, but no tax on tips is not as good. Without the proper like guidelines, it seems like a pretty bad idea. I think it would be better policy to just make the ultra wealthy pay more taxes. I don't get it. Kamikaze, welcome. I don't get it. Just make the wealthy pay more just make the wealthy pay more taxes. All right, folks, we got to get started. Before we get started, make sure that you are following us here on Twitch. Keep liking the stream on YouTube. I see you guys. Subscribe on the YouTube channel. If you want to support the channel, there are many different ways. Thank you guys so much for the biddies and the tips. Please consider checking out the merch store. It's a revamped new merch store, and it's pretty freaking awesome, if I do say so myself. So consider checking that out, and join the Discord, folks. The last Saturday of the month, there will be a movie night event. We are going to stream Dune #2. So if you want to check that out, consider joining the Discord. Cosmopolitics rating with a party of 13. Welcome, everybody. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. You guys came in at the perfect time as we are just about to get started. For those of you that don't know who I am a Difficult Truth. I do the news. I do the politics. We're here Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you enjoy your stay, consider hitting the follow button and consider hanging out in the Discord as well. And if you want to show support for the channel, there are many different ways, including the merch store. Join the Discord, folks. For those of you coming in, also the YouTube. For those of you coming in, this is a perfect time since we're just about to get started. Thank you, Cosmopolitics, for bringing your wonderful community. Please go and follow them at twitch.tv/Cosmopolitics and follow her on Twitter as well. All right, folks. Let's get started, folks. You sound like you don't get that wealthy. Never do what they want to do as long as they can donate their way of getting the way. True. Twitter is having a blackout tonight. What do you mean? Like people not going on Twitter or not posting on Twitter. Because Elon is interviewing Trump on Twitter. Oh, okay. Wow. That's tonight? I forget. So that's why Trump tweeted earlier today. I found that a bit strange. I was like, oh, he's tweeting again. Oh, brother. Yeah, Muscovite interviewing Donald. Unindicted co-conspirator number 1. Yeah, I'm not watching that. Oh, shoot, my title's all wrong. Don't worry, I got it, guys. There we go.
I'll get to those two things in a bit. Some new polling out shows that Kamala Harris is beginning to widen the gap between herself and Donald Trump in some key battleground states, and that has sent Donald Trump off the edge. So I'm going to showcase his new strategy.
His very normal and very hinged strategy, I'm sure. They say not to log in at 7 p.m. Central. What is Central Time right now? 3 hours. Oh, Central Time is 1 hour behind us. I never log in so easy. All right, fair enough. I got Blue Sky then. Blue Sky it is.
In attacking Kamala Harris, which is completely insane, even more insane than what is usual for Donald Trump. And I'll get to another strategy here he's attempting as well, so I'll get to those two things in a bit. First, I want to show you some new polling here out of New York Times, their headline here. New battleground polls show Harris has fundamentally changed the race. So that is based on this polling here from New York Times, Siena College, asking, of course, would you vote for Kamala Harris or Trump? And in Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, Kamala Harris is leading all three by 4 points.
Nice. 4:34, yeah, about an hour behind. It's a different world when you turn off alerts. Yeah, I don't have Twitter alerts. I think like the only thing, well, I do get some notifications if you know, I post or something, but I don't get Twitter anything. Like I don't want notifications for anything except for like I follow some like emergency channels. Because sometimes for some reason, like SOS, like the government push texts don't come through, and there's like a specific Twitter account that kind of forwards that, so I kind of pay attention to that one. But that's about it.
This is a massive shift from where things were. In May, Biden was virtually tied with Trump in Times Siena polling in Wisconsin and Michigan. And polling conducted before and after the debate in July showed Trump with a narrow lead in Pennsylvania. So the race is continuing to move in favor of Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, as well as I said, I think a week or two ago, there are going to be some states, assuming there are no more big events that happen during the rest of this race, assuming these campaigns go on like normal, I think there are going to be some states that Democrats may potentially get that weren't even in consideration before. This being one of them.
Yeah, because like the Biden campaign was heading for disaster. That's too funny, Kamikaze.
So the Newsweek headline here: Kamala Harris ties Donald Trump in state he won in 2016 and 2020. That state being North Carolina, where they are now at 46% each. Again, assuming things continue normally, these campaigns continue at a normal pace, I think Kamala Harris is going to continue gaining in that state and potentially some other states.
I'm still having trouble believing there's that many Trump supporters now. It's got to be in the way they crunch the numbers. No, like the thing is, like, you know, there's also negative partisanship that like there'll be certain people who will vote for the Republican even though they'll vote for Trump even though they don't like him. Right? So it's not that there are that many Trump supporters. Like Trump's core base, Trump's actual base is has always remained that like 25 to 30 something percent, right? That's Trump's base, but like people that will vote for him, yeah, it's a different story.
So, oh yeah, before I get to the Trump reaction, also her favorability rating has increased by 10 percentage points among registered voters in Pennsylvania in just the last month. To see such a massive shift so quickly is both positive but also a little scary, because maybe it's just, you know, the new car smell. People are just excited that it's not Joe Biden. But because this campaign is really just going to be a few months long, they have the potential here to continue this momentum. You know, if this was a long, drawn-out campaign over a year, or, you know, there's a long primer before this, and it was just, you know, all this time to kind of position or attack Kamala Harris in the way that they wanted to attack her, and you know, I guess give time for people to dislike her, then this could shift. But because this race is so quick, because this campaign is shortened in a way that people aren't used to, I think they have the potential here to keep this up and just continue increasing these positive numbers.
Yep.
And to that point, Harris is continuing to open the gap here between herself and Donald Trump, now at a 2.7. If I can get it to the side here, 2.7 points ahead of Trump, so almost 3 percentage points. And as you can see, she's only increased her lead.
Right. The trend is in an upward direction, whereas like when Biden was running, the trend was in the negative direction. Yeah, this is definitely looking a lot better than it did a couple weeks ago.
Lead since she's jumped into the race. Now, this gets to Trump and one of his new strategies here, which is blaming Kamala Harris's crowds on AI.
Trump's new strategy is to be as delusional as humanly possible, I guess.
Let's see how that works out for you. So Trump here tweeting or truthing on Truth Social, writing, has anyone noticed that Kamala cheated at the airport? There was nobody at the plane, and she AI'd it and showed a massive crowd, quote unquote, of so-called followers.
Yeah, but there's no evidence of any of this. Like, he literally just made this up, okay? Just to be clear. He literally just made this up. Where did he get this? Where did he get this idea that, like, the plane photo or whatever was the plane photo was AI? I have no idea. No idea. There's no evidence for any of that.
But they didn't exist. She was turned in by a maintenance worker at the airport when he noticed a fake crowd picture, but there was nobody there. Later confirmed by the reflection of the mirror-like finish on the vice presidential plane. I'll show you the image he's sharing in a second and debunk it. She's a cheater. She had nobody waiting, and the crowd looked like 10,000 people. Same thing is happening with her fake crowds at her speeches. This is the way the Democrats win elections, by cheating, and they're even worse at the ballot box.
Yeah, by cheating, making fake crowds? I don't understand. Like, let's say that was true. Okay. Let's say that was true, that these images were fake and trying to inflate crowd numbers. Wouldn't, like, that doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, like, you know, you kind of have to come up with the votes, right? Like, that's how this works. It doesn't matter if you faked, you know, every single AI photo, but if you don't get votes, then it doesn't really matter. He's so obsessed with crowd size, among other things. True. I guess if you take into consideration these polls are only from a pool of the populace willing to respond to poll dyed in wool political enthusiasts. Yeah, big crowd equals winning. Right.
She should be disqualified because the creation of a fake image is election interference.
It is not.
Anyone who does that will cheat at anything. All right.
First of all, wait, what? Why does making a fake image election interference? Like, by that same standard, wouldn't him lying about crowd size also be considered election interference? Yeah, he should know. To him, the votes don't matter. Come on. True.
Right. So this is the image he shared.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this
man,
message.
speak of the devil.
This is America's border czar, and she's failed us.
She's dancing. No, stop.
So stupid. I'll explain in a second here. So I guess one of his loser followers shared this. Chuck here. So there's the crowd, and then they zoom into the mirror-like image on the plane where is the crowd? I don't see it. The reality is there's a massive gap between the plane and the crowd. So you're not going to see the reflection right up against the plane because the crowd isn't there. This goes on. This is explained here.
Amazing detective work. Amazing detective work going on here. Anything that makes his ego shrink is election interference. True. Exactly.
In the Daily Beast by Getty Images photographer Andrew Harnick, who covered the rally on Wednesday and tells the Daily Beast the crowd was significantly large enough that it spilled into the tarmac. The campaign also set up large LED screens so that attendees could see and hear the speeches. Quote, it was a large crowd, and the pictures that I took that are on the Getty website speak to that. So here's another image of that crowd. Goes on to say, Harnick explains that he used a zoom lens, a camera attachment commonly used by photographers that allows them to change the framing of a scene without moving from their spot. A high-end zoom lens allows a photographer to capture a subject from afar, though it can give photos a flat look and make the subject appear much closer than they are. And in this case, a plane to a crowd. So point being, the plane is actually a pretty far distance from the crowd.
Yeah.
So it may appear close in some images, but the reality is there's a massive gap between the plane and the crowd. So of course you're not going to see the the reflection of the crowd right here because they aren't right there. He also
Amazing.
shared again. He continued on saying, "Look, we caught her with a fake crowd. There was nobody there." All right. He is so Trump's entire personality is based on insecurity.
Yeah.
It is amazing to me that anybody can hear or see this man and think that he is strong, that he's projecting strength. He is so incredibly weak and insecure.
Most bullies
How
are.
don't people see that? This obsession with crowd sizes is just insane. So even Kevin McCarthy went on Fox News to try to get a message to Trump here saying, stop questioning the size of Kamala Harris's crowds, because he realizes it makes Trump sound like the lunatic he is. So this is the other strategy that Donald Trump is pulling out, which is reappearing back on Twitter. So Donald Trump and Elon Musk live on X or Twitter. So this was teased recently in talking to the press, where he
Enjoy. One Green Earth. One Great Earth. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Welcome.
He said this incredible line.
Yeah, the Elon Musk. So, yeah, sure. So
The
Elon called
Musk.
me. As you know, he endorsed me full-throated.
He endorsed me. Full-throated. Very hard to do. Not many have
Amazing.
done it.
Great endorsement. I respect Elon a lot. He respects me. And not easy for him to endorse, to be honest with you. You know, it takes courage to endorse.
Takes courage to do full-throated. So he
Yeah, it takes courage to endorse Trump. Got it.
goes on to say, he goes on to say that they're going to have this show together or whatever the hell it is. This is going to be a fun thing to watch. Maybe not for some, but it's going to be ridiculous. You can guarantee that. And if it even works, the last time Elon Musk tried to stream something with a candidate on Twitter, it was
Ron DeSantis. Yeah. Yeah, that was hilarious. It's definitely not going to go as well as all the other political interviews on Twitter. He also endorsed DeSantis. That's true.
with Ron DeSantis, where Ron DeSantis was announcing his candidacy in the primary, and the whole thing crashed, and they didn't even do it properly because they weren't able to actually broadcast because Elon Musk is a complete fraud and disaster and has destroyed Twitter. But anyways, he's also posting several videos. Here's one of them. Here's one of his amazing ads. Incredible.
Battle. With you at my side, we will demolish the deep state. We will expel the warmongers from our government. We will drive out the globalists. We will cast out the communists, Marxists, and fascists.
Oh, no, no, no.
We will throw off the sick political class that hates our country. We will rout the fake news media, and we will liberate America from these villains once and for all.
All right. Not really sure who that appeals to outside of his own base, but there you go. And some other data here to end on from the New York Times poll. In general, how satisfied are you with your choice of candidates in this fall's presidential election? Look at the shift here. So all voters went from 58 to 73%. This is obviously purely based on Kamala Harris entering the race because
Wow. Did Trump fart? Probably.
nothing else changed here. Democrats, 87% now from 60%, massive shift. Independents as well, which is also good news for Kamala Harris, 60% from 45%. And Republicans, a slight shift up. Maybe that's because of J.D. Vance. Maybe that's because they're more motivated because they want to vote against Kamala Harris. But whatever the reasoning is, a small shift here for Republicans as well. But it's important to note, this election is not over. People have to stay engaged and act.
Now, it was honestly probably like my tummy's growling already, and it's not even 6 o'clock. Maybe he thinks he's a boxer or something. Yeah.
Actually vote to be able to win. But the way things are looking right now,
What a satisfaction survey. What are the F are not going to run a satisfaction survey for?
it's very positive, which is why Trump is sort of just flailing. I mean, having to go to making up stories about AI images shows you how desperate he is getting.
Yeah, because he knows that he's in some hot water. He knows that the ramifications for him losing this race are not just they're beyond just losing the presidential race. It was all fun and games when it was him versus Dark Brandon, right? Because he knew at the time that he had a good chance of winning, and if he won, then he could stop the investigations into him. But if he loses, that chance goes away. I'm gonna eat some chips and eat them now. Be jealous. I am.
Donald Trump is getting crushed so badly by Kamala Harris in literally every poll now for 2 weeks. And the numbers keep getting better for Harris. But
all I got is my sugar-free soda.
Trump's campaign has now had to come out and tell everybody that, oh, don't worry about the polls, because this is just, as they put it, suspended reality.
Ah, yeah. Alternative facts, folks. This is the alternative facts 2.0. Now it's suspended reality.
Let me read you this. This is from Tony Fabrizio, Trump's chief pollster, who recently said, quote, "We are witnessing a kind of out-of-body experience where we have suspended reality for a couple of weeks, and in that suspended reality, it's almost like Kamala Harris never met Joe Biden. You know, they were passing acquaintances." Fabrizio said the campaign will work to counter what they described as Harris acting as if, quote, "she has no responsibility for anything that happened in the Biden administration."
People haven't even voted yet, and they're like, are you satisfied? This is not a 3-course dinner with Chris Steakhouse.
Yeah. You see, here's the thing, though. Kamala Harris, as vice president, really wasn't in charge of anything. I mean, her main thing is stay alive in case the president doesn't. I mean, let's be real. That is the main job of the vice president of the...
And be the Senate tiebreaker vote. That was actually important. My only concern is there are no more adults or Republicans. They're going to contest every state they lose, and the ones where they have control, they will try to cheat again, even if it's all caught. Like last time, they'll convince their crazies that it's fascism. Oh, I know, and I have no doubt. I have no doubt that some shenanigans like that is going to happen. I have zero doubt that they're going to try something of that nature. I don't doubt it.
United States. Yes, she was put in charge of the border, and during that time we saw record numbers of people detained at the border, deported, and a record number of seizures of illegal substances trying to come into the country. So I know Republicans want to tell us the border's out of control. It's not, though. You look at the numbers, it's actually pretty good. And the reason we even know about those numbers is because every time there'd be a major drug bust or a massive, catch of illegal people crossing the border, Republicans would put it on social media and be like, well, see, here you go. Accidentally touting Kamala Harris's success. So that thing that Republicans...
But the thing is, I'm going to disagree with him a little bit here. The thing is, like, she doesn't have any power over that. Like, she just doesn't.
Are lying about that is a success of Kamala Harris, but the rest of the Biden stuff, a lot of it, like, she didn't do that. She didn't vote on it. She didn't sign it. So you can't exactly tie it to her, and the voters know that. So I'm sorry that Mr. Fabrizio here doesn't agree with that, but that is the reality that we live in, not the suspended reality that he thinks we're in.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing, though, right? Like, they're literally inventing terms like alternative facts and suspended reality. Like, that should tell you everything that you need to know.
Furthermore, he goes on to mention that all these polls, of course, this is part of what he calls the Harris honeymoon, as a lot of Republicans say, which would make sense if it was just a bump in the polls and then it leveled off. Here's the thing, though. Harris hasn't just gotten a bump. And I'm not exaggerating when I say this, with each additional new poll that comes out, she has gained more ground. If it were just a honeymoon bump because she's the new nominee and, she picked her running mate, it would have been 2 or 3 points and it would not have gone higher. But her favorability rating keeps climbing. Her polls against Donald Trump in the swing states keep climbing.
Yeah, it's in the positive trajectory.
Favorability I already mentioned. Individual on the issues, she's climbing. She's now beating Trump on most of those, including the economy. And as Kyle Griffin from NBC News pointed out, it's even worse than that for Trump. Harris now leads by 13 points with women, 55% to 42%. She has gone from a 23-point lead with black voters over Trump a couple of weeks ago to a 54-point lead So she's more than doubled her lead with black voters. Harris is up 9 points with independents, 53% to 44%. She was down 14 points with them a month ago.
Yeah, a month ago. Jesus Christ. Like, when Biden was running. Yeah, indeed, an elevator. That's a good old-fashioned beatdown. Well, if it holds, yeah, she's gonna win. If it holds, she's gonna win. She's gonna win decisively.
On from 40%.
Like we're talking about like pretty decisive.
With white voters overall to 46%. Harris is leading Trump by 11 points with baby boomers, 55 to 44%. Latinos have also moved in Harris's favor, 58%. They said they would vote for her compared to 51% last month. So, yeah, that doesn't sound like a honeymoon to me. It actually sounds like people are getting to know her a little more as her and Walz go out and do these rallies, and they're looking at it and saying, you know what? I like her. I like her because she's not weird. I like her because she is smart. I like her because she's not Trump or Biden. Let's be honest, plenty of people think that too. So Trump's campaign can tell themselves, this is just suspended reality. There's only one camp living in suspended reality right now, guys. And it's definitely not the Democrats. Hi, everyone. This here is little Athena.
Oh, Netanyahu can derail this, though. Yeah. That's true. When you hear Trump getting questioned about his weird campaign, he's like, they're not talking about me, they're talking about Vance. Of how he's already throwing the VP under the bus. That's actually pretty freaking funny. But for the record, he's weird too, okay?
All right, let's check in with Tim Pool. Let's see what really.
Let's check in with Tim Pool. Yeah.
How stupid this gets.
So this is 23 hours ago.
So this is 23 hours ago. So he, this is before he knew what the pick was.
Yeah. So this is him wish casting yesterday.
And actually, I think, could be one of the first sort of like decent observations that Tim Pool has ever made.
I want to pull this story up real quick from Common Dreams. I have a dream, and that dream is that Kamala Harris chooses Josh Shapiro, and the woke left expose themselves because they already basically are, and it causes Kamala to lose the election. Progressives warn against Josh Shapiro as Kamala Harris nears VP choice. They wrote a letter. I think it was 50 organizations signed it. And I wonder what the problem is. Why are the progressives not happy with Josh Shapiro?
I think it's because.
Let me guess, because the left is the real anti-Semites. Let me guess.
Because he's Episcopalian.
Oh, that could be it. Maybe it has something to do with his last name?
I think it's the glasses.
Well, as it turns out, they love to mask their real reasons, but they actually did bring up supporting Israel. Yeah, and they said in their letter that Muslim, Arabic, and young people may turn away from Kamala Harris for supporting a Jewish guy.
No, whoa, no. Man, that is so fucking disgusting. Man, that's so disgusting how he like massaged that reality there. So he said that they're angry because of his support for Israel. What that actually means is that progressives are angry because politicians are supporting the Israeli government, which is currently committing atrocities. And he went from that to twisting it to say, "Oh, it's because he's Jewish." Let's rewind that for a second so we can actually hear that again.
A letter that Muslim, Arabic, and young people made out. They love to mask their real reasons, but they actually did bring up
Like, it's actually fascinating how that how you can hear in real time how Tim Pool does this. Yeah, and Shapiro compared student protesters to the KKK. Yep.
Supporting Israel. Yeah, and they
supporting Israel, right? The Israeli government. That's what that means.
Said in their letter that Muslim, Arabic, and young people may turn away from Kamala Harris for supporting
a guy, regardless of his faith, regardless of who he is, of a guy who has been an ardent supporter of a government that is currently committing atrocities.
A Jewish guy. Okay, they didn't literally say that. They're just like, well, his position
I'm making
on
this up,
certain
in
issues.
other words.
But John King on CNN did say
he's Jewish.
Jewish.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's the issue.
Yeah, so
no, that's not the issue. White supremacists have always been master of linguists, believe it or not, a mass deception. Well, they're, because that, they know that obviously people don't support white supremacy. Most people don't. Most normies and most people in general don't support white supremacy. So it's always been this playing coy that white supremacists have had to do this song and dance for forever. So they've gotten pretty good at it. Right. Yeah, exactly. As we hearken, the issue is really Zionism, and Tim Pool is trying to be deceptive and really a piece of garbage by twisting from the 10 seconds before, saying that the issue is the support to the Israeli government that is currently engaging in ethnic cleansing, to the problem is he's a Jewish guy, right? Like, that is just so gross.
That was actually fascinating to watch. Well, he said something like, I don't think
John King did not say it was because he was Jewish.
To the extent that anyone in mainstream media will say it's because he's Jewish, it's because they're lying about the actual reasons, which is that gone at Ben and Jerry's for not supporting Israel enough. I mean, it's not even just the students.
Incidentally,
the things he said about protest.
Ben and Jerry, at least Ben Cohen. I've got some bad news for you. Also a Jew.
So that was actually fascinating to watch. He said something like, I don't think she'll get enough votes. Like, she might lose a lot of votes from the Democrats because he's Jewish. And
no.
And while in the letter, I don't want to mischaracterize it, they're saying his support for Israel in a certain stance.
You're already mischaracterizing it. Man, this guy's such garbage.
But we all know.
Pause it. You've mischaracterized.
When the Women's March happened.
Don't take him down. He's mischaracterized it. I don't want to mischaracterize it, but I will. Go ahead.
But now I'm going to use a fringe case of somebody who's been marginalized because of their views. With the Women's March thing, we can just play a little bit of this too.
I don't think she'll get enough votes. Like, she might lose a lot of votes from the Democrats because he's Jewish. And while in the letter, I don't want to mischaracterize it, they're saying his support for Israel in a certain stance. But we all know when the Women's March happened, okay? Do you guys know the story about the Women's March?
Bro, come on. Emma roasted Pool so hard. Emma's amazing.
And the organizers were saying that the Jews were responsible for this war and the slave trade. And started talking about banks.
No. Holy crap, we're just getting into straight up Nazism. This is literally just like rapid fire Nazi talking points. Whew. Yikes.
I'm like, these were Black Lives Matter activists. They were organizing the Women's March. And the story was there was this Jewish woman who was involved, and she felt like she was being indoctrinated, like they were trying to teach her so she could understand the problem of the Jews and Israel and all that stuff. So it's no surprise now that, they're not too happy with the idea of a Shapiro as a vice president. And while they may in their letters be like, it's clearly about Israel, I guarantee you, 100%, I make a bet. I'd
take that bet. How much? How much is Tim gonna put down? Because I'll take that bet. I'll take that bet. I'll take that bet all the way to the freaking bank. Yeah, bet him all his beanies, even the fancy dress beanie. Right.
You go to one of these progressive protests.
Did you know the Dems started slavery? Yeah. Actually, like what he was referencing, is a like very old. What I mean old is it's decades old. Anti-Semitic, Nazi conspiracy theory that like Jewish people were responsible for the slave trade, among other things. I'm imagining a beanie baby on his head.
And you walk into this crowd of people that are holding up the Hamas signs and say, if you were to say to them, you don't really care about Israel, it's the Jews, they completely agree. They'd say 100%. Turn the camera on, they might say something different.
Bro, how much do you want to bet? Like, I would take that bet to the bank, man. I would literally take that bet to the bank. Like, I would put money down that, like, the majority of, like, the people there that are protesting because they're protesting the Israeli government's atrocities. Like, I would literally put money in the bank that the majority of those people, the overwhelming majority of those people are protesting the Israeli government. Tim is projecting he only understands Eshbags by like himself. Sorry. Damn, you guys even have the same mic. No, we don't. He has a more expensive mic. He has the Shure SM7B. I have a Presonus something or other. A Presonus Revelator. It looks similar. And I understand why that could be confused, because actually, the foam part of this mic is from the same mic that Tim has. The same model from the mic. So the little foam part, I actually took it off. I actually bought a foamy from that microphone that fits that microphone to put on this one, because it's it just helps with the plosives, so you don't get like blasted all the time. So it does look very similar, but if you see these little cables here, this is an XLR mic. I used to have one. Just don't get me wrong. I used to have one, like a pop filter. Exactly. I used to have one, but I sold it.
Being said, I'm sure you've actually met them.
If there was any way, in other words, if there was any way to provide proof, they would never give it to you.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Practically every society in human history has slavery in some form because the self-powered machines weren't invented yet. Like one of those tacky bumper stickers. Progressives, do it on a budget.
Believe me. In fact, the absence of that proof proves.
Makes you wonder.
Yeah, because they're so shifty. Plus, they're so shifty because most of them are Jews who are saying this.
Oh, no.
That's the thing, is like that Women's March thing, like that person has been marginalized from the movement, which is what happens when people do explicitly anti-Semitic things in pro-Palestine movement. They do get marginalized, which I would say is a goal for all these movements, which I think Zionists should also do more to maybe minimize maybe Hagee's prominence and people like him at their rallies. So like, yeah, like that. What a ridiculous smear! But yeah, you could go there with hidden cameras or something. How much money are you making, Tim? Get some people out there and get this evidence.
Pop this letter up.
He's not going to do it. Tim Pool isn't interested in the actual truth, though. Like he's just there to say crap that benefits the far right. And he's never gonna actually do that. Like Tim Pool doing actual journalism to prove the point and bringing up evidence, no, not a thing that's gonna happen. Tim Pool's not interested in that. Tim Pool doesn't deal in truth. Okay, Tim Pool doesn't deal in journalism.
Pop this letter up in the IM. It is from the from something like 50 coalition of 50 education groups across the country, but mostly in do you have it?
Yep. 1 second. 1 second.
Just sizing it up here. Yeah.
And but mostly in swing states. This is on July 24th, incidentally. Before, like, you know, I mean, people knew Shapiro's position on attacking protesters. They knew his position on wanting to pass a law that said you can't support boycotting or divestiture movements against Israel if you want any type of job with the state. I mean, First Amendment guys usually used to have a problem with that. I haven't heard. I don't. Where was what's her face on that?
I know Batya Unger.
Barry Weiss, the big First Amendment person.
I bet. I'm just guessing.
Well, she must have been protesting out in front of Shapiro's office. I would.
Yep. You think these free speech warriors care? No, they're actually not there to care about free speech either. Pool deals in bad music theft and racism, among other things. Yes.
Imagine. Yeah. Broad coalition of public education advocacy organizations from across the U.S. write to you today to select a running mate who fully supports public education. It's our fervent hope that your running mate will reflect your strong history of supporting educators and students and commitments to building the middle class, which will require strong public schools across our nation. For this reason, we respectfully ask you not select Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, who has supported education policies mirroring Project 2025. Scroll down to let's see all these anti-Semites. You never, ever, ever, ever heard in the mainstream media or by anybody about this letter. The Wisconsin Public Education Network, the Wisconsin Public Education Action, Voters for Strong Public Schools in Florida, Support Forest Hills Public Schools Action in Michigan, Save Our Schools Arizona, Parents for Public Schools of Milwaukee, Heal to Win, Race Forward Action, Grassroots Arkansas, the Education Economic Justice Coalition, Georgia, the Education Rights Network, Pennsylvania, 412 Justice, Pennsylvania, Colorado Fiscal Institute, Columbus Education Justice Coalition. These organizations took a big risk. These are not people who go out and say, you know, on their YouTube show, I don't like this person. And if that person gets picked, then, you know, their YouTube funding dries up. This is a big risk for these not-for-profit education groups to go out and make a statement like this on day one. They did that on July 24th.
Yeah, so, like, again, to say that, like, the real reason why somebody like Josh Shapiro wasn't selected is because, like, the left are the real anti-Semitic people. Like, it's just so absurd and disgusting coming from Tim Pool.
Because to your point, Sam, too, it's like they could stick their neck out like this and Shapiro still could have been picked. And then say either he becomes the VP nominee or
that's what I mean.
If they win in November.
And a couple of those organizations are from Pennsylvania.
Right. He'll remember or they'll remember, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Education Rights Network, Pennsylvania.
Listen. I'll tell you something. I sat around a table in 2012 with a lot of leaders of nonprofit organizations who had dealt with Andrew Cuomo. And they were like, I've never seen a group of people so dedicated to making people's lives better, who are so reliant on the governor, willing to say, I think a Republican would even be better. And they knew the price they would pay to express this publicly. If you've got multiple not-for-profit education groups in Pennsylvania, knowing that if they're successful, they're going to pay the price, but right-wingers or, former right-wingers like Joe Scarborough, who's now just a conservative right-winger. I don't know. I mean, the dude was part of Newt Gingrich's class.
Yeah. Also part of preparing the preparations.
They will
Biden's
tell you
media
that
diet.
this is about anti-Semitism. But, I think it was about a real, genuine fear that the Democratic Party could fall into a sort of Midwest populism, which is really tough to sort of like wrangle away from, where, you got some guy who, Walz.
So the Republicans also do an anti-Semitic thing by choosing a couch effer? No, just Republicans are anti-Semitic for many other reasons. Forge Foilables, thank you, or Froge Foilables, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it.
Looks a little older than 60. Walz is basically my age. I hate to break it to some of you. And, but he talks like, the guy who's working at the general store down the road and saying, well, you call it socialism, but I just call it being a nice neighbor.
Yeah, buy some bait from him.
Yep. I
just find it rich the actual anti-Semites are trying to project their bigotry like this. Well, the thing is, like, they have to, right? They have to. If people actually started paying attention to them, and realizing what they're doing, that doesn't play out too well. These people have to do that, right? It's a long and repeated dance that they've done for quite a while.
couldn't be happier. Could not be happier. Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button.
Jesus. Sam jump scare. I'm already subscribed, Sam. Yeah, Automod does Automod things. It is what it is. Sometimes, by the way, sometimes I don't even see the Automod. Like, people's messages will get, like, auto-modded, and it doesn't even alert me. Like, I don't even see it, because, like, you can see, the history of what got auto-modded by Twitch, because it would say, like, recent auto-modded word, or whatever it is that, happened when it comes to auto-mod from Twitch. Sometimes it doesn't even do that. Sometimes it just, like, erases messages, and it's like, never even happened. Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, it's just a Twitch thing. I don't know. Don't ask me. Speaking of, Vance says the Democrats are engaging in schoolyard bully attacks. Oh, man. This is great. Senator J.D. Vance said in a Sunday interview that Democrats are engaging in schoolyard bully attacks by calling the GOP ticket weird. We gotta keep doing this. It drives home how they're trying to distract from their own policy failures. I mean, look, this is fundamentally schoolyard bully stuff, said Vance on CNN's State of the Union with Dana Bash. They can accuse me of whatever they want to accuse me of. Not mad, by the way. There's only one way to stop a bully. Exactly. I'm doing this because I think that me being the vice president will help improve people's lives, so I accept their attacks. But I also think it's a bit of projection, Dana Vance added. You took the words right out of my mouth. That's freaking rich, man. That's that's amazing, actually. Party that has been the bully for the past, like, the outward aggressive bully type for the past 8 years is now stepping back and being like, oh, you guys are the bullies because you call us weird. Oh man, yeah, exactly. I got the fifis. They got their fifis hurt. She did a good job fact checking them. Indeed. Vance tried to levy similar attacks on the Democratic ticket, saying Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, Harris's new running mate, gave his wife a firm Midwestern handshake when he was tapped as a vice president pick, and then sort of awkwardly corrected. So I think what it is two people, Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, who aren't comfortable in their own skin because they aren't comfortable with their policy positions for the American people, and so they're name calling instead of actually telling the American people how they're going to make their lives better. I think that's weird, Dana, but look, they can call me whatever they want. Hey, that's really interesting. Because that's actually a perfect description of you guys. People with such blatantly obvious insecurities to the point where they're literally bullies and hurting other people to make themselves feel superior. Yeah. Cry me a river, please. I mean, Trump called Christie fat, made fun of Cruz's wife, and then made both kiss the ring. But yeah, keep telling us how much you hate bullies. Right, like, you know, it's so funny that this guy would literally say that, right? After running, as he is the running mate of that dude, of that guy, that guy that you're describing. The same dude who resorts to to making fun of people's appearances, making fun of people's partners, because they aren't comfortable in their own skin, and obviously the policy positions that they propose for the American people aren't popular. So they're just name calling and bullying their way to the top. It's actually fascinating, the dynamic here. That's actually funny. It's a schoolyard bully. Walz's description of Vance is weird as it set off a political firestorm that helped establish Walz as a vice presidential... Wait, no. The reason why Walz is a vice presidential pick is because the more people learned about him, the more popular he became. And it turns out just doing good policy should be rewarded. Democrats have repeatedly used the term to describe their Republican opponents in recent weeks, and I think they should continue. Keep it going, man. Keep it going. Keep it going. Didn't put effort into that one for obvious reasons. A woman who took an abortion pill is charged with murder. She's now suing the prosecutors. A Texas woman who self-managed her abortion is suing prosecutors and a local sheriff after she was held in jail for 2 nights on a murder charge that was ultimately dismissed because that would be absurd, right? That we would be charging somebody for murder, for obviously not doing a murder. Lucero Gonzalez, a Starr County, Texas resident, filed a civil rights complaint alleging that hospital staff provided her private information to prosecutors and the county sheriff, who later charged her with murder, according to the court documents. Under Texas multiple abortion bans, it's not a crime for a woman to obtain or seek abortion care for herself. The abortion ban targets physicians and anyone who aids a woman in obtaining or seeking an abortion. Gonzalez is alleging that the prosecutor and the sheriff violated the 14th Amendment right and is seeking over $1 million in damages. Two prosecutors, District Attorney Gocha Alan Ramirez and District Attorney Alexandria Lynn Barrera, as well as Starr County Sheriff Rene Fuentes and Starr County, are all named in the lawsuit. State law prohibits physicians from providing abortion care and places civil and criminal penalties on anyone who aids a woman in obtaining abortion care unless the mother's life is at risk. Gonzalez says she went to an emergency room on January of 2022 after having taken Cytotec estrogen 400 micrograms, otherwise known as misoprostol, one of the two medications used in an abortion pill regimen to cause an abortion when she was 19 weeks pregnant, according to her complaint. An exam found no contractions and found the fetal heart rate, so she was discharged from the hospital and told to follow up days later. Less than an hour later, she was discharged. She was taken back to the hospital with complaints of abdominal pain and vaginal bleeding. No fetal cardiac activity was detected upon examination. Any cesarean section was performed. She delivered a stillborn child, according to the court documents. Gonzalez alleged her private medical information was then given to the state prosecutor and the sheriff, ultimately leading to the arrest, which she said violated federal privacy law. Gonzalez alleged in court that District Attorney's Office and Starr County Sheriff's Office in agreement with the local hospital to report these type of cases. Gonzalez also alleges that there are other women whose health information was also shared for the purpose of investigation and potential indictments. This is pretty freaking draconian, man. Yeah, it is pretty freaking horrible, and I do hope she wins. So the hospital aids her, which is against the law, and then rats her out? Yeah, because they have to, right? Or they feel that they have to because they fear retribution. They fear that they might be prosecuted and lose their licenses. Stillborn babies can be revived. Now you know. She alleged that two district attorneys and the Starr County Sheriff presented false and misleading information to a grand jury to secure an indictment against her, according to court documents. Gonzalez was arrested in April of 2022 and held in jail for 2 nights before a $500,000 bond was posted and she was released. The charges against her were dismissed 2 days after she was released because, of course, of course. Yeah, just in case it wasn't sarcasm. Yeah, no, that's not how that works. Which state is this? Texas. Yeah, close. Earlier this year, Ramirez agreed to pay a $1,200 fine under a settlement reached by the state with the State Bar of Texas and to have his license held in appropriate suspension for 12 months for his prosecution of acts clearly not criminal under state law. He remains a Starr County District Attorney. Ramirez and Barrera have sought to have the suit dismissed and argued in court that they have absolute immunity for the individual claims against them because the pleaded facts showed nothing other than actions taken as part of the judicial phase of criminal proceedings. Yeah, whatever. Fuentes also sought to get the case thrown out and argued that he has qualified immunity and argued that she did not specify claims against him specifically but rather against his office. An attorney representative Ramirez, Barrera, Fuentes, and the Starr County declined to comment on the lawsuit and told NBC News all responses will be through the court filings. Yeah, qualified immorality. Yeah, more like it. Yeah, so this is pretty freaking disturbing for a number of reasons. Like, obviously the case was dismissed because, well, there was no case there. But the whole point is knowledge of this creates a chilling effect. Knowledge that at any point, you could have the state come down on you for the state can come down on you for just getting health care. It's pretty friggin' scary. It's pretty freaking scary. I mean, just imagine if you were just a person and all of a sudden you are now finding yourself in jail and being told that you are being charged for murder. That is freaking scary. That is freaking scary. So what, she should have waited for a miscarriage and died? According to Republicans, yes. According to Republicans, yes. I think you mean it's pretty freaking freedom. Yeah, so much freedom. Many freedoms. That is pretty freaking scary. And this is coming off the heels of this, coming again from Texas. Texas women ask U.S. agency to probe hospitals that denied abortions for ectopic pregnancies, which, as you just pointed out, Redmond Berry, they're fatal. They can be fatal. So yes, that's exactly how these people believe. You're correct. These people are absolute freaking ghouls. Texas cops will use pepper spray to keep a stillborn child inside the womb. No, they'll just lock the mother up for murder. Make America back to the 1800s again. Yep. All right, folks. We got one more story and one more announcement, I guess. And then we got it. Trump plans to sue the Justice Department over Mar-a-Lago search and prosecution. An attorney for former President Trump has filed a legal notice announcing that his client plans to sue the Justice Department and the FBI for $115 million for alleged malicious political prosecution and abusive process. The notice, a copy of which NBC News obtained on Monday today, baselessly accuses the DOJ leadership and special counsel Jack Smith of having perpetuated a malicious political prosecution aimed at affecting an electoral outcome to protect. Another way of putting it is they're thinking that this is election interference. To prevent President Trump from being reelected, a frequent accusation that Trump makes online and during campaign events. Quote, this malicious prosecution led President Trump to spend tens of millions of dollars defending the case and his reputation, said Trump attorney Daniel Z. Daniel Z. Epstein wrote in a notice of claim against the department. Epstein is a former Trump White House lawyer who is now vice president of America's First Legal, the legal group founded by former Trump advisor and fascist ghoul Stephen Miller. He's being sued half that by the Isaac Hayes estate. Nice. The filing complains the FBI court-approved search for classified documents at Trump's Florida state in August of 2022 was improper, as was Trump's subsequent indictment for the scores of sensitive classified documents that agents turned up during the search. Trump had pleaded not guilty. The filing, which is first reported by Fox News, said the search violated well-established protocols involving former presidents and cites a Trump social media post after the search saying the government could have had the records anytime they wanted. Well, if that was the case, why was there even a prosecution, right? Like, if that was true, then the government would have just obtained its documents back and no harm, no foul, right? Like, that would have been the end of it. Yeah, ghouls were once human. Steve Miller, not sure. All they had to do was ask, said the Truth Social post. The filing did not make, but the thing is, they did. They did ask, and you refused and allegedly attempted to block the investigation. That's the issue. The filing, like, you're not being indicted, or you weren't being in front of a federal case because, like, you refused to give back documents. That wasn't so much the issue as much as, like, the hiding of the documents. Does that make sense? Because, like, man, he could have played it off at any given point and just been like, oh, my B, sorry, I missed, I forgot about him. No harm, no foul. That's it, right? Like, that would have been the end of that story. But the sketchy stuff behind the scenes is what did him in. They asked 4 times, "Hey, Footlong, how's it going? Welcome to Simulacra." It wasn't having them. Sorry, I didn't say hi earlier. It wasn't having them. It was refusing to give them back. Right. It was refusing. Yes, it was refusing to give the documents back. It was doing some obstruction behind the scenes. Like, that was the issue, right? Because at any given point, if that was true, if all it was is like, oh, just come and get him anytime, then, like, no harm, no foul, right? One informal and one formal, one legal and one with FBI. Gotcha. The filing does not mention the multiple requests from the National Archives, as Footlong just mentioned, and the Justice Department for Trump to return the records. The DOJ also issued a subpoena for the return of the documents in May of 2022, and an attorney for Trump signed a declaration stating that they had all been returned. The search warrant was executed after the investigators got information that they had been misled. Open to load up the Cannon again, I'm sure. I see what you did there, Eileen Cannon. The notice of claim maintains the DOJ's process was, quote, unconstitutional. It says Smith brought a lawless criminal indictment that stemmed from the search in July of last year and noted that the case was dismissed by U.S. District Judge Eileen Cannon last month. Cannon, who Trump nominated to the bench, dismissed the case on grounds that Smith's appointment as special counsel and the funding for his probe were illegal. Not that the charges were bad, not that the evidence was bad, but under some, whatever, arbitrary line of argument that the probe was illegal in and of itself. Okay. Sure. Other federal judges have rejected similar arguments involving previous special counsel. Smith is appealing Cannon's decision. The Justice Department has declined to comment. Stephen Chung, the spokesperson for Trump's campaign, said the action is part of Trump's fight against the weaponized Department of Justice and that the criminal case against Trump should be immediately dismissed in order to bring back unity to our nation. Sure, dude. I believe they specifically tucked something into the immunity decision that she based it on. Gotcha. And I was always told when you use a faulty firearm and it blows up, it shouldn't be used again. You would think so. The notice filed by Trump is a necessary step in filing most civil damages claims against the government. There is no concrete time limit for a response, but if a claimant has not received the final deposition within 6 months of sending the claim, then the claimant can treat the silence as a denial and file suit. The filing suggests that the suit could be filed in the same Florida district where Cannon sits. The filing was signed on August 7th, one day before the 2-year anniversary of the search. The claim form says failure to completely execute this form or to supply the requested material within 2 years from the date the claim accrued may render your claim invalid. The filing says Trump is seeking $15 million in actual harm due to his legal costs in defending the special counsel proceedings before the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Florida. It is unclear how much of that money came from Trump personally. NBC News has reported previously that Trump appeared to be using money from political action committees for his legal fees. He's also seeking $100 million in punitive damages. And a pending appeal of writer E. Jean Carroll's $83 million defamation verdict against Trump. His attorneys have argued that the verdict should be reduced in part because the punitive damages are about 4 times the amount of compensatory damages. The amount he's seeking in this case is over 6 times the amount of compensatory damages. So, yeah. So I guess when it happens to him, that shouldn't apply. It's unclear what would happen to the action if Trump is elected president again in November, whether he would be able to direct the Justice Department to pay what he's seeking. Yeah. I mean, he would just dissolve that special counsel. Like, it would be done. It would be done with. Like that's why he needs to, that's why he needs to win the election. Because he wants to make this go away. Essentially. All right, folks, we got one more. Okay. Well, since president is king, you can just say our government is immune from lawsuits and on proven felons. There you go. Bada beam, bada boom. Problem solved. Alright, I really only need this part right here. Folks. There is a very important primary, that's happening, with, Ilhan Omar. So if you are in that district, district, 5, please, go, vote for Ilhan Omar. In the day's most watched race, Democratic Representative Ilhan Omar faces a primary challenge from former Minneapolis City Council member Don Samuels in the solidly blue 5th District. Omar fended off Samuels by just 2 percentage points in 2022, and the rematch is also part of a larger inter-party conflict over the Israel-Hamas war in Gaza. As a member of the Squad, an informal group of progressive House Democrats, Omar has been a prominent critic of Israel's policies. Such views have already played a role in the primary defeats of 2 Squad members in 2024. Pro-Israel groups, particularly United Democracy Project, a super PAC affiliated with AIPAC, spent heavily to oust Jamal Bowman, New York Representative Jamal Bowman, and Missouri Representative Cori Bush last week. However, Omar holds a stronger position than she did in 2022. For one thing, she's built up a much larger monetary edge by raising $6.8 million as of July 24th, almost 3 times as much as she raised in 2022. Which is far more than the $1.4 million Samuels brought in. Samuels has also received almost no outside spending support, whereas a group partially funded by AIPAC, Super PAC, spent $625,000 to back him in 2022. By comparison, Omar has received about $517,000 in outside support, according to Open Secrets. Additionally, AIPAC and other major pro-Israel groups haven't endorsed Samuels or served as conduits for individual contributors to donate to his campaign, as they did for the 2 challengers who defeated Bowman and Bush. Maybe they spent all their money trying to oust Jamal Bowman and Cori Bush, and they have limited resources left, so they may be deploying these resources more strategically. So that's good news, at least. Interesting to see if Kamala helps. Yeah, actually, that would be nice if she got endorsed. Omar has used her financial advantage to full effect, outspending Samuels nearly 6-1 compared with around 2-1 last time. Whereas she didn't run any TV ads in 2022, Omar is taking Samuels much more seriously this time by spending $2.6 million on spots to just $32,000 by Samuels, according to Ad Impact. The little polling we've seen also points to an Omar primary win. The only recent survey was a poll conducted on behalf of Omar's campaign in late July by Lake Research Partner that found her ahead of Samuels 60% to 33%. Still, Samuels did get a late surge in contributions to his campaign, a reminder of why we're keeping an eye in this contest. Yeah, definitely, maybe it's a situation where either the resources are too thin, AIPAC is going to deploy those resources elsewhere, or they know that this race is already lost, even though they would like to probably oust her. All right, folks, just under 7 o'clock. We made it, folks. Just under 7 o'clock. Folks, if you enjoy the content, don't forget to hit the follow button. It really does help us out. Join us here. We're here Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Subscribe on the YouTube if you haven't done so. There have been plenty of you that have like the stream, and I appreciate the support. Thank you guys. If you want to help support the channel, there are many different ways. Consider checking out the merch store. It's a new merch store that launched a couple weeks ago, and it's pretty dang awesome if I do say so myself. Thank you, Kamikaze, and I appreciate it. Join the Discord, folks. Join the Discord. At the end of the month, the last Saturday of the month, we'll be doing movie nights. We're going to be streaming Dune #2. So if you want to check that out, consider joining the Discord. Thank you all for your support. I appreciate it. Thank you, Michael Hassler, for modding the chat. Thank you, Heat, for modding the chat. I appreciate it. Thank you all for stopping by. We'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you all. And I appreciate you guys are what makes this channel grow. As always, folks, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. I love you all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. See ya. It's time to get some food, folks. Hang tight. Alright, folks, hang tight. We're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye.